Hello, today we're going to be talking about understanding your future dog's vision. By understanding how and why your dog's vision works the way it does, the hope is that you'll get a better idea of what type of dog you'd like to adopt and get a better idea of how to take care of that dog and even keep it entertained. Why dogs don't see the way humans do. Humans rely heavily on vision. We're detail-oriented, color-sensitive, and we use our eyes to understand almost everything around us. But dogs don't. Their sense of smell is their main tool that they use to navigate the world and to find food, but vision is secondary. So if a wolf, for an example, smells prey, it uses its nose first, then its eyes to help it locate movement or confirm where the target is. This idea that dogs evolved to pay attention to movement while relying less on detail shows up in research too. In a 2022 study published in the Cell Press journal by Christoph Walter, dogs were shown different moving objects and their pupil size revealed they were most interested in things that were self-propelled and moved at variable speeds. That's exactly how prey would move in a natural environment. From the start, dogs' eyes were shaped for detecting motion, not for seeing the world that we do. So moving into the anatomical differences between humans and dogs, to start, humans have eyes in the front of our face. We see about 180 degrees, and most of our detail comes from the center of our vision, where dog eyes are placed more towards the sides of their heads, giving them a much wider field of view, about 250 to 270 degrees, which that panoramic vision helps them spot movement from about almost any direction with a slight turn of their head. And next, our pupils dilate depending on light levels or even emotions like fear or arousal. We also have irises that contrast strongly with our pupils, plus the whites of our eyes, the sclera, makes it easy to tell which way a human is looking. Dogs' pupils don't behave the same way. Their pupils are fixed at about 3 to 4 millimeters, regardless of lighting or how they feel. Their iris color usually doesn't contrast sharply with the pupil, and they don't show a lot of visible sclera, so it's genuinely harder to tell where a dog is looking. Dogs also have a structural advantage during the nighttime that we don't have. Behind their retina is a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum, and it bounces incoming light back through the retina, basically doubling the light available, which is why dogs and wolves can see extremely well in the dawn, dusk, or even near darkness, and it's also why their eyes shine in photos. And this is also an evolutionary trait because their prey would traditionally be the most active during the dawn or dusks. So they would need that better vision to help them get their food. And next, humans have a fovea, which is an area around the center of the retina packed with photoreceptors that give a sharp, colorful, detailed vision. But dogs don't have a fovea. Instead, they have something called an area centralis. It has a lot of more photoreceptors than the rest of their retina, but nowhere near as many as the fovea. Because of that, dogs aren't great at focusing on things that are really close in front of them, usually anything within 10 to 15 inches of their face, to be specific. This also might help explain why dogs don't rely on their front paws the way that we do, because they just can't focus on them very well. And so why do these traits matter when you're choosing a dog? Dogs with short noses, like pugs, have a more pronounced area centralis, meaning they're slightly better at focusing on things right in front of them, which is closer to the human fovea. But short-nosed dogs also have a weaker visual streak, which is a horizontal band of photoreceptors that supports panoramic vision. So you can expect that pugs, because they can focus more on what's in front of them, they would be better able to read a human's facial expression since they're a lap dog and are probably closer to the human's face. Alternatively, long-nosed dogs have the opposite, a stronger visual streak, which helps them track movement across a wide field, which is why long-nosed dogs tend to be better, quote-unquote, ball dogs, because they can keep the ball in view as it moves through the air. A pug is more likely to lose the ball into its peripheral vision unless it follows it with its whole head. So when you're choosing a dog, if you want a dog that's more active and can play fetch more effectively, you should probably get a long-nosed dog. But if you're looking for a dog that's a better companion that could maybe understand your facial expressions more, then you should pick a short-nosed dog like a pug. And next, understanding a dog's vision can also help you have more fun with your dog when you're playing with them. So first, you shouldn't choose toys because you like the color. And this is because humans have 3 types of cones in our eyes for color, red, green, and blue, whereas dogs only have 2, blue and green, yellow. So the colors we see as reds, yellows, and oranges look more like muted or greenish to them, but they can still tell colors apart based on how much light the surface reflects. So, in a 2025 study in animal cognition by Anna-Marita Roy, found that free-ranging dogs tended to prefer yellow toys, likely because that color stands out the most with the cones dogs do have. So, if you're looking for a specific color, you should probably go for a yellow toy. And next, if you think your dog can't see a toy, sometimes it just needs a nudge. And this is because dogs have about three times as many rod cells as humans. Rods are the photoreceptors that work in low light and detect changes in brightness, which we perceive as motion. So if your dog has trouble seeing a toy, simply moving it, tapping it, rolling it, throwing it helps them find it. Another difference is how fast dogs process images. Humans process visual information at about 60 cycles per second, whereas dogs process them at about 70 to 80 flicker fusion cycles per second. That means they see the world in quicker snapshots. It also means TV often doesn't look smooth to them. They see the frames more separately. But that faster processing is a huge advantage when catching things like balls or frisbees. Studies analyzing how dogs track frisbees show their movements match the same strategy used by professional baseball outfielders. So when you have your dog, if they've evolved to have this advantage with playing fetch, it could make it more fun to challenge them by using this advantage. Thank you for watching. Just to recap why this matters when you're adopting your dog, understanding these anatomical differences between our vision and dogs isn't just interesting, it's genuinely useful when choosing and living with a dog. Dogs see poorly up close and see movement better than detail. They see blues and greens best, and yellows tend to stand out. And long-nosed dogs track motion better, and short-nosed dogs focus more on what's directly in front of them. When you know how your dog's eyes actually work, it becomes much easier to connect with them, train them, and set realistic expectations based on their natural strengths. Thank you for watching.